balancing emotional and logical appeals in persuasive messages. One of the most important decisions to make when crafting persuasive messages is finding the optimum balance of emotional and logical appeals. Few message appeals are entirely emotional or entirely logical. So knowing enough about your audience to mix just the right blend of appeals will help you create more effective messages for both internal and external audiences. Every persuasive message is built around appeals, the specific message components that resonate with your target audience. An emotional appeal calls on audience feelings and sympathies rather than on facts, figures, and rational arguments. For instance, you can make use of the emotion surrounding certain words such as success, prestige, security, and comfort. Much of the advertising aimed at consumers relies on emotional appeals. In contrast to an emotional appeal, a logical appeal calls on reasoning and evidence. The basic approach with a logical appeal is to make a claim based on a rational argument supported by solid evidence. Most business decisions are based on objective, measurable factors, such as productivity or return on investment. So it's no surprise that persuasive business messages rely heavily on logical appeals. However, it's a mistake to assume that even a business decision based on hard facts and strict logic is devoid of emotion. The managers signing off on a major corporate purchase want to feel secure and comfortable with their decision, for example. And most professionals want to feel positive about the goods, services, and equipment they use. A helpful way to frame this challenge is to imagine that you have a large control knob in front of you as you plan to write persuasive messages. You can turn it one way to increase the emotional appeal, and turn it the other way to increase the logical appeal. The more you know about your audience, the better you'll be able to dial in the optimum balance for every message. Let's assume you want to persuade company management to establish an on-site daycare center. Anything that involves employees and their children is obviously going to have some strong emotional elements. And if you believe that the executives are primarily concerned with employee welfare, you could dial up the emotional appeals and use the logical appeals as the secondary push. In contrast, if you believe the executives would be more readily persuaded with a facts and figures approach, you could dial up the logical appeals and use the emotional appeals as the secondary push. Again, getting the balance right depends on knowing your audience. To craft a proposal that emphasizes emotional appeals, take the message points you identified in the planning stage and sequence them in a way that builds a compelling case for the idea. Along the way, work in some logical appeals to demonstrate that the center would be a smart financial decision too. To craft a proposal that emphasizes logical appeals, take the same approach, only emphasizing the logical elements. Along the way, work in some emotional appeals to show how the center would improve employee morale and reduce stress. Apply this notion of dialing in the right balance to every persuasive message you write. And remember that even with the most logical proposals, people want to feel good about the decisions you're asking them to make. So pay careful attention to their emotional needs as well. Beauvais and Thill are the authors of the world's 3 leading business communication textbooks: Business Communication Today, Excellence in Business Communication, and Business Communication Essentials. The ability to craft effective, persuasive messages is just one of the many skills that students will develop using the hands-on advice and practice opportunities offered in these texts. To order examination copies of these texts, visit Beauvais and Thill's Business Communication blog. Click the button on the upper right-hand side of the homepage that's labeled Order Examination Copies. On the ordering page, you'll find a link to a helpful chart that compares Beauvais and Thill's 3 texts so you can choose the book that will best serve the needs of you and your students. You'll also find a link to Quick Switch, a brand new system that will enable you to switch from your current text to a Beauvais and Fill text quickly and easily. The system provides transition guides, a syllabus assistant, and a lesson plan assistant. Please visit the ordering page now.